Hello people of the grid, it is Tuesday, April the 19th, and this is Miker sitting in the Light Runner. We're going to take a minute and do a broadcast for you that I've been meaning to do since we got the car, but honestly, it's just been go, 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 and life happens really fast, and here we are, a year has gone by and change, and I'm going to get this video done. Part of my incentive is I know there's a bunch of you out there that are looking at Teslas. You're thinking of configuring one. Many of you could be, like me, a reservation holder on the Model 3. That's going to be, a couple of years out in the future. And you're starting to think about what should I get when I can order. Or maybe you're in line right now for a Model X or a Model S and you're thinking, what should I get? So I'm going to take you through every single option that we ordered in our Model S 85D. I'll talk about it a bit and fill you in on why we got it and how we've actually enjoyed it or not over the course of a year. So yeah, hope you enjoy this. I don't know how long it'll be, but I'm going to cover every single option that we got in the car and give you a really good sense of did it make sense or doesn't it make sense. Now keep in mind, we have, our family has 6. So it's Tammy and myself and our 4 kids. We've got 1 boy and 3 girls, Ethan, Amelia, Samantha, and Melissa. And their ages are 13 for Ethan all the way down to soon to be 8 for wee baby Lissa. So here we go. All right, may as well start with the first option, which is actually the entire car itself. This is what a Model S 85D looks like. We went with the metallic blue paint option. We ordered in late November of 2014, and by the time we got it in 2015, about a month later, this option was no longer available. So Model S 85D. I did not opt for insane or ludicrous mode, strictly a money decision, and we thought this would be plenty of car for us without having to spend all of that money on insane or ludicrous mode. But once I win the lottery, my next Tesla will have those options. So yeah, that's option 1, the Model S 85D. That's what you need to do before you get any other options. Alright, welcome to our garage. What you're looking at here is the first of 4 19-inch Cyclone wheels. Those are our summer tires, which we're going to get put back on the car in a couple of weeks. Once the rush dies down, we'll have our summer tires back on. So there's another look at the 4 19-inch Cyclone wheels. They come with those really nice Tesla covers, which was fantastic. That's how they actually shipped them to us. Inside the car. We had the car delivered with the winter wheels on, and the summer wheels were inside. So we've used them and taken them off after last summer, and now we're on our winters and it's time to put them back on. Those are the 19-inch Cyclone wheels. Alright, and these are the wheels that we have on the car now. These are the 19-inch winter set. They're just the base configuration of rim. I didn't spend any extra money on winter rims, but these look really nice and sharp, and definitely a step up from the usual winter rims that you see on most vehicles that look incredibly bad. So these are our winter 19-inch. Now, a lot of you might be wondering why we opted for the 19-inch wheels instead of the 21s, and for me, it was strictly a decision based on range and range alone. It had nothing to do with looks. I think the 22-inch wheels look phenomenal. Is it 21? Whatever. The bigger wheels look amazing on the Teslas with the lower profile tires, the rubber. But when I was doing my research, the 19-inch give you better range, and so when we configured the car, all of my thinking and planning went into options that would give us the most range. And so 19-inch wheels it was, and you know, I'm quite happy with them. Down the road, would I get bigger wheels? No, I might. For the summer, might not be a bad idea, but these tires have been treating us really well. Now, another option that was a bit of a step up from the base config was what Tesla calls the Alcantara headliner. And until I configured this car, I didn't know what an Alcantara headliner was, so don't feel bad if you don't know. It's basically just a suede headliner. So the arms that come up from the windows, the entire top part of the roof is Alcantara. Let's take a closer look. Alright, so that's Alcantara, and you can see it's basically a nice suede, rougher looking. You also get this, which I think is standard on all the Teslas. I don't think you have to order Alcantara, or maybe you do. You get a little bit of Alcantara on the dash, and then it just follows up all the way around, and the whole top is this Alcantara stuff. Now, we try not to touch it too much because we really don't want to have to clean it, and you know what, it's held up really well. After a year of use, it still looks great. That's Alcantara. This is just the mirror that's inset into the visor. So Alcantara headliner, really happy with it. Happy we got it. It's a nice touch to the car. Alright, so that's the blue metallic paint option that we got. That was a step up because it was metallic. And at about March or April of 2015, I think it was April or May, shortly after we got the car, this came off of the list as an option that you could order for a Tesla. So I don't know if you can see it there because I'm in really bright sun. Actually, that's where it shows up best. In really bright sun, you can see that nice, deep, metallic blue. And depending on how close or far away from the car you are, when you're further away, it actually looks blackish. And as soon as the bright sun goes away, it kind of takes on a darker color. So it almost color morphs. It looks really, really nice. Happy with the color. We're definitely loving it. That was a little bit of an upgrade and a treat, but we're really happy with it. Alright, next on the list, this is the back seat that you're looking at, is the black leather seats option that we got. And they look really, really good. That's the back seat. And here's a peek at the front seats. Again, I don't know how it's going to look in the light. Yeah, it looks good. Nice, comfy seats. Again, our car came to us March 31st of 2015, so I think the seats may have been tweaked from earlier models, but very comfortable on long drives. Very easy and comfy to sit in. All the nice usual adjustments are there, and I have actually even caught some Z's and slept in the driver's seat while we've been supercharging on some of our longer trips. Just recline it back and have a nap. Haven't done the full-on Bjorn yet, though. That's coming. I'm trying to talk my wife into it. That's where you actually camp out in the car. She's not sold yet, but I think she's getting close soon. So another option that we got that I am really, really happy with is carbon fiber decor. That's where the dash area and the middle console, if you don't get the insert in the Model S, that trim has carbon fiber. So it's a one step up from the base, and I'm really, really pleased with it. Have a look at this. So that is what carbon fiber decor looks like when you take a kind of a close-up look at it. Looks really, really nice. And it just runs the length of the dash over here on the driver's side, just a little bit on this side, and of course down here in the center console under all my stuff. So these things are little rubber strips. They're supposed to keep your stuff from sliding, but even in the 85D, when I punch it, everything slides. So I need maybe some more grippy stuff underneath, but I kind of like the minimalist look here. We got a little bit of storage for cards, my glasses, Tammy's glasses. Every road trip needs a snack, so I've got 400 Tic Tacs to help me get through long road trips. Very handy. Carbon fiber. Of great choice. Looks great in the sun and in the light, and it's the first carbon fiber I've ever had in any car we've owned, and I'm really happy with it. Glad we got it. Now, with the Model 3 announcement, there's been a lot of talk and discussion around what Elon said up on stage, and it was actually on the slide deck behind him. It said supercharger enabled, and everybody's wondering, what does that mean? Does that mean the car will come with supercharger enabled? Does that mean that you might have to pay a little bit for the supercharger enablement? I don't know. I know when we ordered our Tesla Model S, because we ordered the dual, supercharger enabled at the time, you could actually price it in or out. You could choose not to purchase. I think it was about $2,000 at the time, and then a couple of 6 months later it went up to about $2,500. No, it was $2,500 if you wanted to add it after the fact, after you had purchased and realized, oh, I should have got that. It would cost you a little more. So ours came with, I was going to get it anyway, and like I said, the decision was solely based on I wanted range in the car, and I also wanted to charge as fast as possible. Tesla superchargers, you don't need twin chargers for that. They bypass the chargers because the charger is actually off board. It's out in that hidden thing where the electrical utility is. Keep in mind, I live in Canada. I'm kind of in the middle of nowhere when it comes to supercharger density. If you look at the map on the US, there is a nice string of superchargers across the central US, and then they're peppered northern and southern. In Canada, we've just got a couple of dots on Western Canada and a couple of dots on central. I don't know how far Eastern Canada we go, but just sporadic. Nowhere near the density that we have in the States. So my decision was based on I will need to charge off of public charging infrastructure, and I want to do that quickly so that I don't have to wait. And it's really been a good investment. I would highly recommend that. For those of you that aren't going to do long trips, for those of you that are mostly going to stay in the city close to home, and maybe there's a supercharger, an hour away from you, you might not need it. For you can charge up at home, which I do as well. And then for the dual chargers allow me to charge as fast as possible. Now, the question is, do I use that a lot? And if you've watched some of my other videos, the answer is yes, absolutely. In fact, 55% of the charging of this car, I call it the Light Runner, 55% of the charging that we do is either public or Tesla. It's kind of a split between public and Tesla. But when you charge at a public charger, an L2, which can go up to 90 amp, 80 amp, 80 amp is what you would get at the service equipment side. When you charge at one of those, if you don't have the twin charger, you won't be able to consume electricity at that maximum speed. In fact, you'll be cut in half. So if you pulled up to an 80 amp charger, which with twin chargers, when I pull up to an 80 amp charger, I get 79 kilometers or 80 kilometers gets put into the battery every hour. So in a very short time, over dinner, we've got plenty of range usually to make it either home or to destination. So great decision. Paid for itself, definitely, or is paying for itself, but it's paying for itself in time saved. I don't have to wait a long time when I'm away from superchargers. All right, next option I want to share with you is the dual motor all-wheel drive option. In the Model S that we ordered, there is a motor in there, electric motor, and another motor in the middle in the back. So the one in the front, let's see how much of this we can pick up because it's so bright. There's the storage where I got just a cable in there. Right underneath that, or behind that and inside, is where the front motor sits. And then in the back, the rear motor, again, we don't get to see any of this stuff, but the rear motor sits right below the rear facing seats option in there. So yeah, that's something that we got, the D. And we went with the D mostly for all-wheel drive. We live in Canada, Calgary, Alberta. Lots of snow in the winter, lots of slick roads. All-wheel drive is a nice to have, when the roads are covered with snow and ice. You don't need it. I've lived most of my life without all-wheel drive, but if you have the choice, do it. The traction on the roads, the traction in slush, it's phenomenal. And we took our family to Disneyland. We drove through the mountains, and there was a huge snowstorm up there. It was horrible. Bad driving all around, and the car stayed on the road nicely. It held the lane, and it was really a joy to drive. So all-wheel drive, a really nice to have thing. The other cool feature that I didn't realize when I ordered all-wheel drive is you can put the car into what's called range mode. All right, so under if you go into your controls driving, there's an option for range mode. If you put it into range mode and you have a dual motor car, what will happen is something that I think is really cool. I'm going to turn it off. When you turn range mode on, what the car will do is it'll actually torque sleep one of the motors. Now I believe it's the front motor, but I've read that it's the rear motor. The rear one's bigger, so it makes sense to sleep the bigger one. Anyways, one of the motors basically just spins freely, creates no drag because it's spinning through air, through a magnetic field, and it's just one motor doing the pushing, and that lets you set power. Now you don't have all-wheel drive in that state, but you do have range mode, and it extends your range. So that was a really nice option on the dual motor. Also, when we configured it, it was interesting because the single motor had so much range, EPA measured rated range, and with dual motor it had slightly more, and it was because both motors working in tandem are more efficient. Maybe torque sleep was a part of that, I don't know, but I wanted more range, so dual motor it was, and it's been great so far. I've been really happy with it. Next up is all glass panoramic roof. To get the all glass panoramic roof or not, that is the question. In the Model S, the way it broke down for us is if you wanted to put roof racks on the car, you had to get the panoramic roof, which was extra. It's of course more than the base model, which was just the solid roof. Pano roof cost a little more, but it allowed us the option to put roof racks on. All right, now with the panoramic roof, one of the nice things is from inside the car, under controls, sunroof is the first option under controls. That's where you can control the roof, and you've probably seen this in several other videos, but that is exactly how it works. You press the button and the panoramic roof opens, and when you press the button, the panoramic roof closes. That never gets old. Really nice, and the view out of the roof is really unbelievable. So what I never noticed, because I always sit in the front, is so I get to see the view out of the front here, which is great. But look at the view that people in the back get. They also have, wow, that's a bright sun. They also have a full panoramic view out the top. They just have to look up. And so that as an option, like I said, because of the bars, we had to get it because you get anchor points for the bars in the roof. I've been really happy with it. Do we use it a lot? You know, when it's super hot in the summer, I'm running air conditioning more than I am driving with the roof open. When I'm by myself, I'll do the roof thing because I love it. But when we got kids and everybody in the car, it can get a little warm, so everybody likes AC. They're all a little soft, and I'm getting soft too, so I don't mind the AC at all. So we run some AC now and then. This next option has been awesome. It's the rear-facing seats option. We had to get it because, like I said earlier, we have 4 kids. That I know of. We have 4 kids, and whenever we go on trips, we like to bring all of them with us. In fact, sometimes we bring a friend. And so the beauty of the Tesla Model S that we have is it seats 7, 2 in the front, 3 in the back seat, and then 2 more little people in the rear seat. So there's a height and weight restriction that sort of dictates how old and big they can be. But we've still got 3 of our kids. All 4 of them can fit there, 2 at a time. But really there's 3 of them that can shuffle between sitting in the back seat. So let's go take a look at what that looks like. All right, here's the rear-facing seats in the Tesla Model S, and it's got a ton of room. So our storage bag for our different connectors is in the side, ton of storage there. Of course, the wheel well for the kids' legs, and down here we've actually had 2 roller bags side by side, and then the kids' legs on either side. And on this side, I don't know if you can see that well, but there's a little ledge here to put stuff on, and there's a little hidden area here where they can hide stuff and park things. So lots of room, and plus we found they've found a nice little spot on the sides of the seats to tuck in their water bottles or whatever liquid that we do allow in the car. So tons of room in the back. So this is my wife Tammy. Tammy does a lot of car shows.
Yes, a lot.
Can you show us what it looks like to put the seats down, babe?
All right.
Just an interesting note, when you order the rear seats option, what Tesla does is they actually reinforce the whole back of the car, much more so than a regular Model S without the rear-facing seats. And impact tests have shown that this is a very, very safe setup. The back end does not encroach into that vehicle space. So that was important when we were looking at the car because, of course, we want all of us to be safe, especially our kids. Yeah, this past weekend we went to Cochrane and for ice cream, and on our drive back there was a car that was behind us. This lady was swerving and I saw her holding her phone. She's taking pictures of our two girls in the back and our license plate so she could notify somebody. Once she got her pictures, she was getting pretty close, and it's clearly distracted driving what she was doing. Then she pulls over because you need to be safe when you make a phone call, of course. Pictures, no problem, but making phone calls, she wanted to be safe. She phoned 911 and she reported that we had kids in the trunk of the car. So we were wondering if we would meet the police when we got home, like the other famous people in Australia. But no police. In fact, there's a Tesla owner whose wife works in the call center. She had heard about the call, and they didn't even dispatch. They just informed the poor lady who was uninformed, and we didn't get a visit from the police. I've met police at police shops, and they've watched the kids load up, and they think it's a pretty cool thing, just like we do, right? Okay, let's show you what it looks like to pull the seats down. All right, so how does it look to take them down? So easy that even a 5'1" woman can do it.
5'5.5".
5'5". Correct. So you fold them in half, and you tighten up the seatbelt, and it just sort of turns it into a bundle. And then once you have that done, you pull it down, and it just seats into the well where the kids' feet go. Now, we actually have a hard cover that just drops in over that, so you got a nice flat area in that back. And that looks like any other Tesla that does not have the rear-facing seats option, which is kind of nice when you need to store stuff, and you can actually even throw down those back seats. Yeah, sure, let's have a look at that. So there's the one seat going down, and the other seat down. So yeah, with those seats down, you now have a place to sleep, Tammy. We can go camping in the Tesla. So yeah, that's what that looks like. Tons of room. And then to put it back into normal driving mode, ready for kids to load up. One seat up, clicks into place. All right, so both seats are up. And now what does it look like to pull out that seat? So you grab a little strap, right, Tom? Pull on the strap. It's not really heavy at all, is it? Click it into place, and it solidly locks into the back seat in the frame of the car. And then when the kids go in, this is the 5-point seat belt, so that goes across the chest, slides up, snugs up, and then your bottom two pieces click together, and they go into the one that goes between their legs. And so that holds them nice and safe in place. Tammy likes to tighten them down. It's her thing for safety. And those are the rear-facing seats. Excellent option for us, and we couldn't own a Tesla without them because, like I said, we have 4 kids, and it works really, really well. You like them?
We love them.
Would you order them again?
Absolutely. Otherwise, we can't all travel together.
How about the kids? Would you order them again? Yes. There was a pause.
No pause.
You paused. All right. Thank you, Tam. All right. Next option that we went with was in the Model S. They have the option, and the X has it too. We'll see about the 3. You can actually adjust the ride height of the car. Now, really, really handy because as I go into parking lots, so I go exercise at the YMCA locally, or certain parking lots that you go to, where it's a really big transition. Even our driveway here, where there's a bit of a bump, you don't want to scrape the front spoiler or anything under the car. So you just raise the car up, and the neat thing the Model S does is it geotags that location, so that when you come back to that spot, it will actually auto raise the car for you, so you don't have to worry. Beautiful thing. When you're highway driving, it will actually lower the car, and I can control that setting. It lowers it to create more aero efficient roll. Now it's really negligible on the amount of extra range you get because of that, but the more efficient you are, the better. All right, so you go into controls. Right under sunroof, under controls, is suspension, and it's there. I should turn the car on, so I'll step on the brake. There we go. Car comes on. Under suspension, for our driveway here, I've got it at very high, and it says auto raising based on location. You can set it to high, or to standard, or to low. So that's the 4 heights that you have in a Tesla Model S, and I use that a lot. Like I said, when you're getting into out of parking lots, or coming up to one of those cement blockers, and you don't want to hit the spoiler, I can raise the car above them. The Model X apparently has 5 settings, so you can actually have 5 different height settings on the Model S. You can see here I've got automatic lowering, so adjust speed. Whenever I'm at 105 or more kilometers per hour, it will automatically lower to the low setting. Okay, next option that we got was Subzero weather package. Again, because we actually get a real winter here in Calgary, Alberta, we see temperatures dip to minus 35, sometimes minus 40 Celsius, very rarely. When the wind blows, it definitely gets cold. So we got the winter package, and what was really cool, when we ordered our car, heated steering wheel wasn't a part of the winter package. And then somewhere between November of 2014 and March of 2015, that option was added to the Model S run-up, and we just got it. We didn't have to pay extra. They just threw it in as part of the bundle of the winter package, which was really nice. I mean, I would have understood if they would have asked for even a little more money for that, but they didn't, which was nice because everything costs. So that was really nice to have. So we get heated steering wheel, we get heated front seats, we get heated rear seats. The kid seats in the back do not get heated, but we get to push enough heat via the heater that it works fine. The other thing you get is heated windshield. So there's a little bit of, it's almost like that antenna that you have on the back window. It's thicker and it's up there, it's under the glass, and it heats the glass where the wiper blades sit on, so that you don't get a buildup of snow there. Now, if you park in a garage, it's great because the water runs off, and here in our semi-arid desert conditions of Alberta, not an issue. In some places I've heard, though, if you melt the snow, that place gets really warm, and then as it snows, it gets wet, and then it freezes, and your wipers freeze in place. I haven't had that issue at all this winter, and we have those types of conditions. So those heated wiper blades have been really, really handy. All right, so to turn on the winter packagey stuff, you go into controls, and there it is, cold weather package, or cold weather options. And now you can start turning on your steering wheel, your heated wiper blade area, turn on the heating in the front seats, and you can control the settings of the heat, and you can turn on all the rear seats. Now this is interesting because my butt's starting to get warm. That's not what's interesting. What's interesting is that the only place you can turn on heating for the rear seats is right here. So I have full control over that, or my passenger, Tammy, can turn it on or off. There's no way to turn on heated seats from the back, which is actually kind of nice because I know when anything's on, and then the nice all off button. So that's the cold weather package. We use that a lot this winter, and that's that. The next option we have is the tech package with Autopilot. A couple of reasons we had to get that and wanted to get it. The tech package, when we ordered our car, that's what included the navigation, and it also included Sirius XM radio. Which, the other thing that you get with the tech package is the Autopilot, the Auto Steer, and the Auto Parks. We've got some other videos that we've shown with Auto Steer. They're really good. You should watch them. We're going to do another one on Auto Park because I only did the curb parking one, and we've gotten the update since that allows us to do parallel park. Now, I've seen it many times in parking lots. I've never actually done it. I've done the summon thing, but I haven't done the parallel park, perpendicular park in a parking lot. So we'll follow up later with that. But that as an option has been phenomenal. Auto steer, love it. Use it. You know what? Highway driving, I'm probably using it 80-90% of the time, as much as I can. It makes the drives easier. It's a more relaxing and fun drive. It's less fatiguing, and it's just amazing to have the car watch the road while you watch the road too. So the law is pretty clear, right? When you're on autopilot or auto drive, the human still has to be the one in charge of the vehicle. The human will be the one to get a ticket if your hands aren't on the wheel. The human will be the one to get a ticket if you're using your iPad or your phone, which is called distracted driving here. So don't do that. It's not safe. What is safe is you watch the car drive the road, and then you're ready to react if anything's needed. And on our trip to Disneyland, which we did last year, it was like 56 hours of trip there, and then 56 hours back, and autopilot made it a breeze. You know, we did the trip there in 2.5 days, and I was worried that I would be too tired or not wanting to drive back. That wasn't an issue. In fact, I was looking forward to the drive back, and it was just as much fun as getting there. So get yourself autopilot. You won't regret it. All right, now broadcasting from my garage, where I want to show you the next option that we added because it's important to have. You need it to charge up the car, and that option is the home wall connect for the electric vehicle service equipment for Tesla. Most people just call it a wall charger, even though the charger's in the car. Here's what it looks like in our garage. No, that's not it. That's the charger for our Leaf, which I'm going to do some videos for you later. Our Leaf is right here. That's the first charger that we had installed. When we got the Tesla, we opted to get the Tesla wall charger, which has been phenomenal. This thing's got little dip switches inside that the electrician can set, and you can charge, you can get a 100 amp circuit, delivers 80 amps to the box, and then it can dump 80 amps into the car. And the plug we have there is just a NEMA 1450. So from the street to the house, we get 100 amps for the entire house. And our Nissan charger right here, that one is set up with a 40 amp circuit, which delivers 30 amps to the charger, which didn't leave a whole lot for our next charger. So we just opted to put that on a 30 amp circuit, which gives us 24 amps to the Tesla charger, and it dumps 24 amps into the car. Works just fine. Our next place we can get more electricity, and we'll be able to charge the car faster. It hasn't really slowed us down much because we can still plug the car in when we get in at night. You know, we get in around 11 or 12 midnight. By 5:20 a.m., 5:30 a.m. when I'm ready to roll, I got enough range to either get to the nearest supercharger or to do a full day's driving, whether it's me using the car or Tammy with the kids or both of us. So that wall charger, I love that little guy. All right, so one other option that we added when we ordered the Model S, which I thought was a really good idea. I'm still happy with it. I've used one service, but we ordered the prepaid service. So there's an option to order 4 years worth of prepaid service, one service every year or every 20,000 kilometers. And then if you want, you can order an extension to that, which I did, to get another 4 years. So we have 8 years or 8 services worth of service for the car. The first one was already being done. It was last year, late last year, and a ranger came out to our garage here, did the service on the car right in the garage, and Tesla was fantastic about it. You get new wipers, it gives you some free washer fluid, and does a full once over on the car. And the beauty of their service is they don't tell you you're going to need a new, a new coupling or something is wrong. They just replace it. So that's been really, really good. Great investment, and it saves us $100 per service too. And then the one other thing that I'm going to get probably, as we approach year 4, they said you didn't have to get it right away. You can get it any time within that first 4 year warranty period was extended to the 8 years for the whole car. So I think I'm going to go ahead and do that, just because, you know, it's I hear parts in these things can cost a little more than parts in a regular gas vehicle, and if I can get them under warranty, even better. I'm going to be keeping the car well beyond 8 years, so I want to make sure it's really well taken care of and well positioned to last me hopefully 15 or 20 years. We'll see. This might be a hand-me-down for our kids. We'll sell it to them when they're able to pay full value for it. Actually, yeah, it'd be a good thing to pass it on to them. So yeah, that is it for the core options. So next I'm going to kind of jump into the little thingies that you kind of get from the Tesla store. Things like mats and extra cable plugs and stuff. So I'll go over all of those options that we got, and then some of the ones that I even added a few months after we got the car that it, you know, seemed like a good idea, and I'll tell you what those were too. All right, so stay with me. All right, and one other option, as I mentioned, we travel a lot. We take our 4 kids many places, and we do a lot of things. This car saves us a lot of money because we don't have to fly everywhere, and it's really opened up where we can go. So we load up the Thule box, but in order to carry a box, you need the roof racks, and that was, like I said earlier, one of the reasons that we got the panoramic roof, is so that we could put roof racks on. They've been great. They're low profile, they're quiet. You know, I hear some wind noise, but I've always had them, so I don't know what the car is like without them, and it doesn't really bother me at all. If you ever hear too much wind noise in a Tesla, if you have the tech package, the stereo goes to 11. Takes care of all the wind noise, takes care of your wife sleeping in the passenger seat and snoring. Not that my wife does that. She doesn't snore. So yeah, it just there's really no noise as far as the roof racks are concerned. Let me show you a bit of a close-up of what they look like. One thing, because I had read when you order the roof racks for installation, you don't want to over-torque the screws that affix the roof rack to the car. I was really worried that I would over-torque them, you know, because I do that when I golf, I do that when I baseball, I do that pretty much when I do anything. I put in too much mic and then things break. So I thought I would let the professionals deal with the roof racks. They installed them at the factory. The car came with them in. I will probably never take them off. They look great on the car, and we use them a lot. Let's have a look. All right, so that's the rear roof rack right there. It's made by Wisp Bar, and they're actually shaped like a airplane wing. So it's got a leading edge here that's a bit thicker, and then on the back end it trails off to a really thin point. So nice little rubber up here, so you can clamp stuff on them. Big leading edge, and then the front bar, same thing, trailing wing edge in the front, and locks onto the car. Does a great job. All right, so one of the things, because we do so much stuff with the kids, what you see back there is some snowboarding gear or helmets, some boots, and that's not even all of them. The rest of them are up in our Thule box, which lives right there. So let's take a bit of a closer look at that thing. So that is our Thule box, and it's got a really neat system that I think for 50 bucks or 60 bucks you attach it to your roof, and it'll actually hold it up there in your garage, and then you just wind it down and it settles nicely on top of the car. That addition was something that we got that goes on top of the roof racks, and that little beauty is what enables us as a family to travel anywhere. We've been to Anaheim, we've been to Edmonton, to Lethbridge, we've gone on curling trips. Golfing is coming up this summer. We've done snowboarding trips galore, and that is the secret to success. You can carry luggage in there or goods, and it is awesome. And the next thing I want to show you that we got as an option was the panoramic roof sunshade and the liftgate sunshade, which we thought we would use in the winter to do some heat insulation, keep it warmer for all of us, including the kids, especially in the back. But it turns out that the sunshade in the liftgate is actually making a lot of sense for keeping it from getting too hot in the summer. So I think we're going to put in the liftgate sunshade right now. And what I'll do is I put it in last year. I'm going to have Tammy who's a noob at sunshade installation. She hasn't done this one yet, so I'm going to let her do the liftgate, and we'll see just how easy it is. It's not that hard. So here's what they come in. A nice Tesla storage bags. One is for the screens in the middle of the car, the panel roof, and the other one is for the lift gate. So they fold up really nicely into a small space. Great for storage.
We're going to put this in?
Yep, give it a shot. Now you can see it's got a curve on one end and the other end is flat. So that model that follows the curve of the window. Yeah, exactly. And you just push the corners in, Tammy, to make sure it kind of tucks in. And then it straightens out that top part. And just check the top where that thing is. I think that one just sits like that, yeah. And wow.
Ta-da!
You are a auto detailer, aren't you? Tammy has never worked in the auto industry, but
I've cleaned cars a lot.
she cleans up after all of us a lot. So yeah, that went in nicely, hey? Like 2-minute install. It's just as quick to take it out, and then you fold it up and put it in the bag. So that is the tailgate. You know, sunshade. If you're far away, you can't even see there's kids back in there. So this is kind of like stealth mode for those of us with kids. We like this because then other people don't even know we have kids in the back, and they don't tend to call 911. Yeah. So it looks great too. So that's the liftgate sunshade in place. And you can see even the camera here, it's picking up the vehicle across the street. It's a trailer or something on the back of a truck. So yeah, it doesn't affect visibility, and it hopefully will keep the kids a touch cooler. For the sunshades for the sunroof, the panoramic roof, we're not going to install those because being summer, I'm going to be opening and closing the sunroof a lot. All right, next up is the all-weather mats that we got for the inside of the car. So that covers both the front row, the rear row, and then we got the mat for the kids in the trunk as well. And here's what they look like. Now it's really funny, they're fairly clean, but they show up dusty and dirty. It's just dust. We're gonna pull them out soon. I think we're done with winter. But those are the two front mats, and they have done a great job to protect the factory mat underneath, which looks really, really good. Now the one in the back is really cool because the one in the back is one big mat that stretches across the whole back, and underneath we just have the nice factory mats that the car came with, and it is in pristine condition. So because we carry kids in the back, that mat is an all-year one. It's staying in all year. It's just going to keep the back clean. In the front, here's what it looks like without the mat. So just a little bit of rocks to vacuum up when we do our spring cleaning, and it'll be like new. So yeah, it does a really good job of protecting. All right, and then last but not least is we got the rubber mat in the back here for the kids' footwell, because I know as they get in, especially in the winter with wet boots and stuff, it still gets fairly dirty underneath just with little stuff, but at least the majority of the dirt and snow and water gets collected on this mat and does a really good job of protecting the car. Those I would get again in a minute. Great investment. All right, shooting again from my garage just because this is where I have it. We got the trunk mat for the Tesla, and we haven't used it much. We have when we've been hauling stuff back and forth, when we pulled the kids' seats down, when we have to get the tires taken on. I use the rear trunk mat, and it goes over everything in the back to protect it. Here's what it looks like. So just one big massive mat, big piece of rubber. Drop that into the back of the Tesla and catches everything that you put in. It's actually a really nice way to keep the car clean. So like I said, we have used it when we haul stuff, just because we're always usually going somewhere with our whole family. Don't have a whole lot of need for it, but I'm still very glad I got it, and I would definitely get it again. The trunk floor mat. All right, I thought I'd come inside and take care of this one. This is an option that we got because we were going over to Tammy's parents' place a fair bit out in the country, and we wanted to be able to charge off of a NEMA 1450 plug without driving the car into the house, because some people don't like that apparently. So what we opted for was this bad boy. So this bad boy plugs into that NEMA 1450. On the other end, I can plug the Tesla's NEMA 1450, which our Model S came with. And this is a super heavy cable. It is built and rated for that level of amperage. It's from evseadapters.com, and it actually, when using on dryer outlet, recommended setting to 24 amps. And that's what I do so that you don't pop a breaker. So yeah, you get a much faster charge rate than plugging it off the wall. So we used that not too long ago, actually when we were out there for our Easter egg hunt, and it worked very, very nicely. Handy thing to have. Alright, so here's what comes with the Tesla. In this bag you get the Tesla wall charger. The connector, of course, is attached to one end that goes into the car. And that's neat. On the other end is where the wall connectors go. So there's your L1, your standard plug for just 120 volt, 15 amp. And to change it, just press the button and you pull this one out, and then you can put another one in its place. You just slide it in till it clicks, and then you're ready to plug into the wall. Now the ones that that came with were that one, of course. This one came with, it's the 120 volt at 20 amps, so it almost charges at a few miles or kilometers faster than the other one. Still really, really slow connector, but if that's something you got, it's better than the other one. You'll get a better rate. Excuse me. Here is the popular J1772 adapter. So our Nissan Leaf charger out in the garage can plug into this, and that plugs into the Tesla. I use this one a lot, and this one was free. It came with the car, and I probably use it more than any of the other ones combined. So this one is invaluable because when you find public chargers on PlugShare or on Sun Country up here in Canada, they all provide these types of, it's called J1772 type plugs. So that's a really nice one. So those are the ones that come with, I believe. And there's also, I think this one, which one is the NEMA? This one here. This is the NEMA 14-50. This allows you to plug into a dryer plug and get 240 amps at, or sorry, 240 volts at 30 amps, which is a really nice charge rate. That's equivalent to what I've got out in the garage. Nice fast charge rate. This one is similar, and this one is the NEMA 14-30. So you can see slightly different plugs, and I'm covered. Whichever one I encounter, these I know will work with the Tesla. This one was an extra one that I ordered, thinking that I might need it. I've never used it, but it was, I think it was $15 or $30, so it was, you know, not too outrageous. And I thought I wanted all the options I could get. 240 volt, also 30 amp is what this thing can do. So now I'm covered from all of the different plug types that I expect to encounter. And there's one other plug that I do encounter a fair bit because we go camping, and in Canada that's called the TT-30. So ground, hot, hot. I think only one is hot. And what this gives you is 120 volts at a full 30 amps or 24 amps. It actually tells you, hopefully I get that on the camera, maximum recommended current 24 amps. So that's all that you want to pull out of the post at the campsite, but that doubles my charge rate. Hope that gives you a good idea of some of the options that we thought we couldn't live without and we're really enjoying, and then some extra options that we added to just make life in the Tesla a lot more fun. Thanks for watching.